Why make DM only content for YouTube? It's a question I've been asking myself, and I think a lot of other DM YouTubers have actually been thinking the same thing. Why only cover something that not everyone's using, right? So I've got this little list here on, oh, hey, we got a whole bunch of people playing, that's cool. Oh, look at that, over 40 million fans around the world. So then we start doing the math, we start crunching the numbers here. It is speculated, there is no actual math, or if there is, Wizards of the Coast refuses to tell us. We suspect that a fifth of D&D players are in fact DMs, meaning that if you have 40 million people that are in the D&D realm of things, then we actually don't get 40 million people looking at our content if only a fifth of them, of course, are DMs, right? So my question for you all and myself here is, why make DM only content? Why only attract ourselves to one fifth of the users if they only one fifth of the users are DMs? I think for me personally, it's because that one fifth of people is so vastly important. Once again, I've said this a lot in other videos. The DM's not the most important person at the table. Everyone's important at the table. Everyone shares an equal role. It's just that when it comes to being a DM, you have to know a bunch of things, and unfortunately these books here, they're not really the greatest at telling us how to run, right? These books in particular are, just superfluous in a sense. Another thing I want to cover is number 2 here: adventures are too subjective. So my channel started off with a whole bunch of adventure module guides. I talked about Tomb of Annihilation, Curse of Strahd, Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frost Maiden, and so on and so on. But the thing is I cover it from a base point of view. But the thing is, every single time you run that adventure for different people, it's going to be a whole different experience. It's impossible to give a catch-all to everybody because everyone's going to rip that thing to pieces. The players are going to ruin everything. It really just, it's never going to matter because, yeah, it's cool to cover the basis of the book and maybe give out some suggestions, but your group is going to be so vastly different, it may not be relevant to you. Number 3 here, hasn't everything already been said? The thing to consider is there's a whole bunch of other YouTubers all saying things of, oh, hey, how do we handle this exact scenario? What do you do with problem players? How do you handle fudging the dice? There's always these, catch terms that everyone loves to use. Isn't everyone saying the same thing? Actually, no. From what I've noticed, everybody has a different take on it. It's just how they approach saying it. That's the reason why you watch multiple people. But at the same time, I don't think that this is a situation where a rising tide raises all ships. I'm willing to bet that if you watch someone talk about a subject, you're not as willing to watch someone else talk about the same exact subject. That's what I'm willing to bet here. But maybe you could prove me wrong. Maybe you could tell me down below, I watched Matt Colville's take, and then I watched Light Flourish's take, and then I watched da-da-da so-and-so's take, because I would be genuinely curious to see how much overlap there actually is. What is the best format for talking about DM content? Does it come in the form of having a 5 to 10 minute video discussing exactly this one key point, and you have that fun flashy thumbnail of, oh, don't let your players do this, or never split the party, or, oh, player death, things you should avoid. Is that the best format? Or is it coming down to, we need to make top 5, top 10, or, I'm genuinely curious, what is the best format for covering DM content? Because, once again, we're pandering to a smaller audience here. And also something I think is important too is the fact that, yeah, we're pandering to DMs, but I think that there's a lot of DMs out there that are so proud that they don't want help. And I think that probably limits our field of how many people can actually get watching our content that much more. And 5 here, why not both? Why not make both DM and player content? I've actually asked this for my own channel, and I've seen a lot of people comment, oh, please, there's a drought of DM content, but there's so much player content. You know why that is? Because the player content gets views. Because why make a video on the intricacies of DMing when I can make a video on my fun favorite subclass and how to make a build for it, and then that gets immediately 4, 5, 10 times more views, right? But at the same time, I'm trying to think here, and I know that there are some people who dabble between making DM and player content. but I'm willing to bet most people just lean toward one side or the other. Is it worth trying to diversify your portfolio and just make more content for everybody? I mean, that could possibly work. So I wanted to make this video for two reasons. One, because I want you all to tell me what's up. I want you all to tell me what you have to think about this. But more importantly is, not only do I want you to tell me, I also want you to reflect on everybody else. Because like I've said before, why as a YouTuber would you try making stuff for DMs when you could easily get more views and more watch time by making player content? The thing to really consider is the people that are making DM only content are really doing it as a charity. They are not doing it for themselves. And the ones that are purely doing it for a sense of, oh, I really want to help people out, I bet you every single one of those people is not doing as well in regards of viewership and retention and all that. I'm willing to bet they're not doing as good as the ones that cover only players. So be thankful for every single one of your YouTubers that you like that puts out DM content. So please tell me down below what you all have to say about these questions, because they are genuinely worthwhile discovering. I'm curious to see what you guys think of, oh, is there only 1/5 of the player base that's actually GMs? Oh, is the adventures too subjective? Hasn't everybody already said everything? What is the best format to covering DM content? And should people cover both DM and player content? Go ahead and tell me those things, because I would love to hear it. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. And thank you to my amazing patrons. You guys are absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much. And I cannot wait to see you all in the next one.